What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Brian.
I'm Will.
And today we're humbled to be joined by a powerhouse individual here in San Diego real estate market, a leader, a visionary in his field, a realtor and a real estate developer. His mission and purpose is to build better futures through housing. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Andrew T. Greer.
Hell yeah.
I was pretty excited to meet that guy. I was like, who is that?
Let's go.
You know what I like about you, Andrew? You're so freaking humble, bro. You are just one of the humblest people I've ever known. And I've known you, I've only seen you a couple of times, but I get to see a lot of what you do, you know, how you're posting for the community and all that good stuff. So I'm just honored to be here with you. So I appreciate you, my man.
I appreciate that.
One of the things I really appreciate about, the social media space is that you really get to know somebody, a little bit before you actually meet them in person. It's actually my first time I ever meet you. And just looking through your content and, trying to understand who you are, you get a really good sense of this is a people's person. He really cares about, what he's doing. And ultimately, he likes to share what he's doing to give, empowering options to other people.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, man.
Very cool.
So let's get right into it, man. You graduated in 2011, and it took a short amount of time to pick up a mentorship, and it was from an employer that you used to work with. Share a little bit about, your motivation and how you broke into the real estate game.
Yeah, so this was, I kind of had two stories. So I was a bartender. I got picked up to be a stockbroker, so I became a stockbroker, and I dropped out of college. And then I don't know if you guys remember what happened to the market, but it collapsed. So I was there for the party ended. And then I was like, hey, you know what? I got to go back to school. But I was still selling securities, doing things like working through things, and graduated from college. At the same time, I was in the elevator going up to my office in Winvest. I'm sure you guys might remember Winvest. They were like a hard money lender. Was the floor above us.
Wow.
And my old bar manager is in there and he's like, oh, I'm flipping houses. And I was like, wait, what? What are you doing? I was like, hang on, let's grab lunch. So I went in, did a little bit of work, met him about an hour later at Gordon Biersch.
Oh, nice.
Like Gordon Biersch
yeah.
back in
I remember
the day.
that one.
Mission Valley.
Yeah. Met him at Gordon Biersch and I was like, hey, can I just follow you and learn what you do? And he's like, oh, we're opening a fund. And I was like, that's cool. I take companies, I open funds for them. I'll help you open the fund. You show me how to flip.
Wow.
So for 4 months, I just worked in his office. I got a bartending job again. So I was like, I'm going to bartend at night.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn this during the day. Did that for 4 months. We didn't agree on everything in the end, so we separated our ways, stayed friends for a while there until he got in a lot of trouble. And then I started flipping houses, and it took a while to actually get to where I got my first house. It was about 9 months.
Gotcha.
So,
what year was this?
that was 2012.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So you've been in the industry quite a while now.
Yeah. People keep saying I'm one of the old school guys, and I'm like, oh, I guess I am now.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd that happen?
It's time time goes so fast, right? Like next thing you know, like you're in the industry that long. Like I'm 20 years into the finance industry. I never realized that I would even say that, you know, especially with my ADD. I'm like, I was just trying to look for the next best thing, So
100%. I can't go to YPN anymore.
That's awesome. So that got you into the fix and flip. How long was that journey?
So I fixed and flipped. I just sold another flip last week. So I still will do them on the side.
Got it.
It's not my main bread and butter, but if a deal comes across that makes a ton of sense, I'm going to jump on it. But I did that for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
And then started doing maps to do development. So sold maps, didn't actually build the projects, just did the maps and sold them. Still did some flips, but mainly like custom remodels, big 1-year projects.
Yeah.
So longer projects, got into that. And then after just getting taxed like crazy, I was like, hey, let's go into building and then let's build single family houses that take a while so we can have a different tax rate on it. And then from there, it was like, let's start building apartments.
Got it.
So first apartment started in 2019. That's when we started construction. So been doing that ever since. Building an 8-unit right now, building another 6-unit. Looks like I'm taking down a 15-unit that I'm going to build too. And then I started running the team.
Wow, that's freaking awesome, man. So you went from flipping to that, and I'm sure probably the IRS was getting to you in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
The flipping.
Dude,
all that short term is just so much fun, right?
Oh, dude, take so much.
So you mentioned now you lead the team, and if I'm correct, you lead Thomas Stanford Investments and Finance City team.
So we were Finance City team. We're actually Real Estate Pro team now.
Okay, cool. So Real Estate Pro team.
Yeah.
What inspired you? What made you want to go into the leadership role and actually start building out a team?
Yeah. So economics background, I looked at the market. I noticed that in 2021, I was like, hey, everything's switching. This is going to be the time to get good agents and start a team. And I was like, I want to do more developments, so I need short-term money. So I need to have commissions coming in on the regular.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go get agents right now because the world's going to get pulled out from underneath them and they're not going to be ready for it. Well, 2022 hit and it started getting pulling out, and you're closing 27 deals. Now you're closing 3. And you want to learn how to actually do real estate.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was really in real estate. Like I did flipping, development. I helped do commercial deals, everything. So I was like, I'm going to go get a team. And that's when I turned it on and started getting a team.
That's freaking awesome, man. One of the, when I first met you face to face, I've always seen you like when you're speaking engagements and stuff like that, but I never got to personally see one of your projects. And when I was in Mission Hills, you had 3 properties. I mean, they were freaking badass projects. Yeah. How's that go? I'm at that time you were selling, I want to say that was almost about a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And they're all gone now.
Those are all gone. We sold all of them.
Damn, yeah, because I still have the videos and the picture. I mean, the buildings, by the way, you're building a good product. You're not skipping any corners. Yeah. I saw that. It's like, I will put myself in living in this place. And the views, oh my goodness. But what I was really intrigued by was when you bought that property, it was just a single family residence, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
And it took you how long to build that out?
Dude, that one was wild. So that one took 7 years. And it was permitting issues you wouldn't believe. So one of the things, it was wrapped into an HOA. Somehow the APN got wrapped into it. We had to unwind that. That took 9 months. Then we had a city planner that just completely reviewed the project wrong. We went back 3 times. We're like, you're reviewing it wrong. You're reviewing it wrong. They kept saying no. We finally got to sit down with the head of the planning department. They pulled it all back and actually refunded us our fees because he was that wrong.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, how many fees, though? Because there is carrying costs with this.
Oh, yeah, no, they didn't take care of that.
It's a substantial amount. Shoot.
So it was just a refund of fees of what they charged you, but it's nothing to do with your carrying costs because these things could get pretty pricey, right?
Yeah, that one, it can definitely get pricey. We weren't in a terrible position. Okay. I had 4 Navy SEALs renting that house from me. And we were getting pretty solid rent, all E6s and E7s.
Hey.
So it was pretty good stuff on that. So we weren't terrible, but opportunity cost.
Yeah.
And just being in a project, the IRR just slowly tanks.
Wow. So if we're going back 7 years, you bought that property, what, 2017-ish, 18?
Yeah, 2017.
Golly. So everybody makes it seem so easy out there. I mean, I know your social media and everybody else that's building, they make it look like, oh yeah, I bought it, it's up, let's go. I'm making money right away, right? But this is a 7-year project.
Yeah, that was a 7-year project. We did make money. We made pretty good money.
Yeah, I remember.
So it wasn't terrible. But yeah, no, it was one of 3 projects like that got approved.
Gotcha.
I designed one of the other ones, and then one other one was done.
Got it.
So I used a unique part of the code, which I will never use again. And then I could have done it 5 different ways. I've learned now. Yeah. So I go into meetings and people bring stuff up and they're like, oh, we want to do this. And I'm like, no, don't do that, do this. And then they're like, oh, can you explain it? I'm like, you got to pay me. I'll explain it. But I know why not to do it, but it's going to take 3 hours.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your time is valuable because I know, and that was one of my questions is like, how do you manage your business? Because you do multiple things. You're always giving back to the community, figuring out ways how to improve. Entrepreneurs like myself, you're always helping us out with just giving us mentorship and it's free. Mm-hmm. All I have to go to is cheat codes. Yeah. All I have to do is go and play pickleball, like later today, right? Yep. So it's pretty cool that you do that. How do you manage your time?
So I'm really hard to get a hold of on the phone. Yeah. Very hard to get a hold of.
I noticed that.
Phone. So I didn't even know you called. Yeah. So, and I'm very select on who I take calls with. And So say you go to cheat codes and then you want to have a follow-up, you want to have like a conversation. I'll do like 1 5-minute conversation. From there, you either got to be on my team, be in a project, or have a retainer with me.
Nice.
So, because I have retainers with people where they can call me and ask me questions, but it's not cheap.
Got it.
And that's how I manage it. So, and then my clients. So, it's a massive funnel for leads and deals.
Wow.
So, it's altruistic, but like we win with it. And we've built something over the last 10 years where we own that space.
I see.
Like we really own that space for like education, and we're not charging you, hey, $10,000 to get your platinum star membership. So I'm like, no, let's do business.
Yeah.
Got it.
Make money together.
I like that. You know, there's nothing like hands-on, right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of platforms where people are paying these thousands of dollars on a monthly fee, and then it's a one-on-one coaching, but there's nothing hands-on. You know, they just keep kind of digging into your pockets until you hopefully find something. Then maybe they'll take you through that journey, you know? So I applaud you for that.
So I noticed that a lot of the projects you guys take down, you hold them, and some of you currently are still holding them. While you're in the process of either developing or, you know, working on your exit strategy, you do profit and bring in renters. You know, can you share a little bit of your strategy on that and, you know, how important that is?
Yeah, no. So I had a little bit of serendipity that I was building 3 buildings that I was going to sell in 2019 and 2020. So my goal was build these buildings and sell them, maybe keep one. Well, rates went way down, values went way up. I was in a position where I could refinance out. I got 78% of my cash out of the deal, so we only left 22% in, and we were cash flowing. So I was like, I want to keep holding, and that's when at the same time that trigger where I said I started a team, I was like, I want to make money on other things so I can keep holding properties.
Gotcha.
So I've bought more holds since, and I'm building more holds now, and my only goal is to hold everything. So I don't want to get rid of any of them. They cash flow pretty solid. They're not going to change your life, but the amount of equity we have in all these buildings is insane.
It's definitely a long-term play that you guys are, you know, equipping.
Yeah. It's like that. I want to be that old guy where like I walk by and like the young guys in real estate are like, did you know that guy owns 500 doors?
You see that door there, that building? That's him.
You'll never see him wear a Rolex.
Careful, don't walk on the right his side of the sidewalk.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool how you share that. You know, the rates went down, you refinanced, you took advantage of that changing market. And one of the things that I really applaud you for is you always adjusting to the way you're doing things. Like your pocket community that you're building in National City, I believe that's what, like a 20,000 square foot lot?
Yeah, so I have 2 of them.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, I have another
Look at
one.
that.
I have one.
Let me
that
applaud
I've
you.
already, I've already built one that's 10 units, and that thing's crushing. Wow. And then I have the new one that's 8 units that we get delivery of the first unit next Monday.
Wow.
So I'm really excited for that. I hate that it rained
Yeah,
because it's super muddy.
Just delays.
So those are phenomenal products, and we're actually selling a lot of them to other investors now.
Because I heard you're the dealer now to go to.
I am the dealer.
Hey, man, yeah, the product.
So if we want it, you know, some good product, now we know where to go.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. So in this one, I believe you put 10 properties?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I will love it. I know I was trying to research it through like your Instagram or something, but that's not you. Again, you're the humble guy. You just...
Yeah. I think there's a video out there somewhere where I got out of a car and I'm like, check it out.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool. So you put these properties, and they're manufactured homes, correct? Because you're a dealer for manufactured homes now.
Correct.
How is that business going for you now with this new way of adapting into the market?
Yeah, so we're doing ADU sales now. So we're selling to the homes to add a single ADU or 2 ADUs, and that is just opening a waterfall of deals right now. So we're actually, our first fully installed, not our property, is going in right now. We're doing an event in April to showcase the product.
Nice.
But I think we have over 100 in production right now.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And so can you give us like what was the reason for adapting that new way of doing things?
Yeah.
Was it a cost thing? What was it?
So there was this guy. He has the same name. He has a terrible name, so I'm gonna preface that. He has the same name as a famous NASCAR driver, but his name is Dick Trickle.
Okay.
And I met him.
Richard.
But he goes by
Yeah.
All right.
I met him at his house because I was trying to buy it, and it was a modular home. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, you did this 3 stories modular. He's like, yeah, but what I'd really like to do, and he's like 80. He's like, what I'd really like to do is make communities out of manufactured homes. I was like, what do you mean? And he had like these sketches, and I was like, oh, interesting. I was like, I want to do that too. And he's like, you should definitely do it. These guys sell them. So I contacted them, like, oh, like, we don't take calls, we only work with dealers. I was like, what's it take to get a dealer's license? They're like, oh, you have to look at it. I was like, all right, let me look at it. Looked at it, I was like, oh, I can get a dealer's license. So I got a dealer's license.
Oh my
And I called them, and I was like, hey, I'm a dealer here in Southern California. And they're like, okay, well, our minimum order size is 10. And I was like, okay. So then I went out and looked for lots.
Wow.
Interesting.
And then I found this deal in National City.
Backwards.
2 homes, 1 lot. And I looked at it, and I was like, dude, I think we can get 10 here. Did the math. Guy had it up for sale, and I was like, full price today, we'll do it.
Gotcha.
Bought that property, took it through the entitlements, got it through, and that's like what started it.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. How do you figure out? I know it has to do with your FAR, right? And so, how did you figure that? Like, can you explain that to?
Yeah. So you have a lot. You're gonna have a unit count that's allowed on it, and then you're gonna have your FAR, which is your floor area ratio. That's how much square footage you can get on there. So this property was actually only allowed for 8.
Okay.
But there's state law that says that if you give an affordable unit, you have to give a 25 to 50% bonus. So I was like, hey, I want to do this. Here's the state law. They're like, no one's done an affordable unit in National City. That wasn't a like city owned program. I was like, what?
But it's out there. You can do it.
Yeah.
If you just play by the law.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I'm going to. So they gave me the 2 extra units.
Yeah.
They let me
Badass.
cheat my setbacks. So I got to come up 7.5 feet forward to fit the units. And I was able to get 20 parking spots.
Wow.
That's badass.
So I have 20 parking spots, 10 units, all 3 bedroom, 2 baths with laundry. Just 7 of my tenants haven't moved since day 1.
Wow, that's awesome. So you're the first one that came up right there. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
we've had those opportunities there, but you're the first one that actually broke through that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
and
pretty nuts.
There's more people doing it now.
Of course.
But it
one.
was, and I'm like, it's National City. Like, come on.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It makes a ton of sense. Like, there's so much opportunity.
There's so much need. A lot of people that's it's a perfect place to do that. And the fact that nobody knew, you took the time to do the research, read the fine print, work within the laws, and say, hey, well, we can make this play happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how does that compare? Because I know one of the biggest issues right now with people is the expense of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of, if you're going to do ground up, it's going to cost anywhere from, on the low end, $250 all the way to like $550,000. I mean, $550 a square foot. So having these manufactured homes already just coming and being set up, what's the...
This is, okay, so this is 2020 numbers. I was receiving them at the lot, 1,000 square feet, for $66,000.
Oh my God.
And then I had to do my site work. My site work ended up being another $69,000.
Wow.
So
Per or
per.
okay.
So,
yeah.
but it's basically everything combined, the concrete, everything.
Okay, got it.
So I was in it for cheap.
Gee.
And then we just had our holding costs, permit costs, all that stuff. So we were really good on that. Now it's about 200 and change for that size unit, which is still, you're going to pay $350 to $400 if you're doing that grade of product.
Yeah.
So, and now we're doing new things. We're stuccoing them. We're doing, we're changing the eaves. We're doing all sorts, like adding air conditioning, different things that make them nicer, solar panels, and they're just dialed in.
Because you're talking about 1,200 square feet?
These are 947 to 999 square.
Wow.
decent.
And it's like, what
decent
size?
sizing.
3 bedroom, 2 bath?
3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Jeez.
laundry.
That's
And how are the rents? Is it that much different than...
better. They're better.
well. Is it better because of the difference in what you have to pay for them and stuff like that than regular mortgage? You have a higher cost.
Well, no, it's the fact that like if you're in an apartment complex and you're a 3 bedroom, you are not going to pay the same thing to be in a cottage. I sell cottages. To be in a cottage with no shared walls.
Got it.
And we have parking.
Also, these are all standalone then.
They're all standalone. They don't share any walls. They have their own outdoor space that we allocate to them.
Oh, yeah.
So it requires a unique lot, because I still build stuff that's in tight lots that doesn't fit a lot, but it's still very like solid.
Yeah, so you're really taking advantage of this new ADU rules that we keep getting, and they keep getting revised in our favor, I want to say, because they're really trying to inspire developers and homeowners to go out there and take advantage of these ADU rules, right?
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think right now there were some miscalculations in the ADU space by the city. So they pulled back some stuff. They had a huge hearing. It was over 8 hours. They changed nothing. They said they literally changed nothing. Nothing changed. There's a whole thing of all the things they changed. It's nothing. So, but what's happening is it's like in a laissez-faire economy, you build something that sucks, people don't rent it, developers stop building it.
Yeah.
So these 14 units in a backyard, they're not selling or they're not renting for what you thought.
I see.
So people are pulling back from that. It's like an educational process.
Got it.
So, you might be like, hey, I could put 20 units here. And I'm like, yeah, but what if you put 11 and gave them parking and then you never had to worry about that? So we're seeing the market always adjusts up and down on that.
Of course.
So.
And I see that you're adjusting. I mean, you're just creating the cheat code.
Yeah.
So now I know how you came out with real estate cheat codes. Like, man, you really learning how to figure this out. And I mean, cheating in a good way. And utilizing the space as the way it's meant to be utilized.
100%.
So that's pretty cool, man. Thank you for sharing that. That is a really good cheat code. And I know there's a lot of people in National City that would like to take an advantage. And now we have a dealer right here.
Yeah.
Who would have ever known I'd be really close to a dealer, right?
So
That's pretty awesome, man.
Speaking about unique projects, you successfully converted a church. Can you take us through that process and, the emotions that went into it and, what you got out of it,
Yeah, so this is a lesson to all the agents, which I just said I don't do. Answer your phone. I got a call, and then I missed it, and then I got a Facebook message, and it was a guy who was like, hey, I need to sell a church. And I was like, you need to sell a church? Okay, let's see what's up. Pull it up, 23,000 square foot lot, I think.
Okay.
And I was like, awesome, I'll take it. And one thing leads to another. We signed the contract beginning of 2020. COVID hits, and the church hadn't paid taxes since 2003.
Okay.
Now, they don't have to pay a ton of taxes because they're a church.
They're a
They have
church,
to do a statement of information. They have to file all their stuff and make sure they're good and on the up and up. So it took us 19 months, maybe 21 months to unwind that.
Oh, dang.
So we were in escrow the whole time. And if you remember, the market was just like this. And they're like, are you sure you want to stay in? I was like, I'm fine. I'll wait it out. As long as I can eventually close, I'll take it. So in all fairness, it was not a great setup who was selling the church.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of bad stuff that happened. Just long story short. So at 19 months, they're like, we're good. We can close. I was like, cool. Close on the property. I just put it out for feelers. I bought it for $565.
Got it.
I put it out for feelers. One developer comes back. He's like, 1.9, I'll close on it. I was like, what?
And you got 565?
I got it for 565.
You're like,
I was like, holy cow.
double.
Like, yeah, cool. Send him a contract. Go into escrow, 30 days in. Interest rates are going like this. And he's like, I'm out. And I was like, oh, man. So I am in my office. I'm interviewing an agent. And she's like, yeah, I know I do a lot of leasing. I have a guy looking for a church. And I was like, guy looking for a church? I was like, I have a church. She's like, you own a church? I was like, yeah, I bought a church.
ideal.
So, she's like, cool, let's go see it. So I was like, I'll do a 3-year lease with them because that's how long it's going to take me to get my permits.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
So they're like, cool. We go there and they're speaking in Spanish and like I know just enough. I'm like, they're saying they have to buy it.
Yeah.
It's like
I know enough.
compre. Like,
Yeah.
They're using the compra word. I know that.
Se vende?
Sí.
So they come over. They're like, hey, we have to do a lot of improvements to it, which was true. So we either want it for a 10-year lease, and I was like, no, or we want to buy it. I was like, oh, yeah, buy it. And I was like, well, if you want to buy it, I'll sell it to you for $1.5 million. And they're like, will you let us do a lease option? And I was like, yeah, I'll let you do a lease
Yeah,
option.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I don't have to sell it right
Gotcha.
now.
Yeah.
I was like, so give me $5,500 a month plus triple net. So I was like, cover my taxes and everything. And then I'll give you 5 years to pay me out. If you pay me off in less than 3, you can buy it for 1.2.
Nice.
If you pay me off in 4, you can buy it for 1.37. If you pay me off in 5, you can buy it for 1.5. If you go over, it's 1.65. And then at year 6, I can cancel your lease.
It's
And they're
smart.
like, cool, we'll do it. So I've been leasing to them now for just over 3 years.
They said, "Si, senor."
Yeah.
Okay,
and
let's go.
They're awesome. We delivered the toys from the holiday party to them.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Cool,
Bunch of
cool,
stuff.
cool. Yeah, yeah. Oh.
So, do you go to church there?
No.
No. Okay.
I always see you in your speaking events. You're always carrying a bat. What's the significance of that?
Yeah, so the bat came about because you familiar with lab coat agents?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I was going to an event with Tristan Ahamada, and I was like, dude, I really want to speak at Lab Coat Agents Live. I was like, I'd love to get in front of like 6,000 agents and have like an opportunity to speak. So I was like, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And I just remembered Reggie Bush coming on the field with the bat for the Super Bowl, and it said, bring the wood.
Ah.
So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I was like, all right. And I went and bought 4 different bats, and I wrote on it, if you let me speak at Lab Coat Agents, I'll bring the wood.
Oh, damn.
Oh, that's creative.
Yeah, and I walked into the event. My buddy Sam was actually presenting in front of like 150 people.
Nice.
And I just slammed the bat down. Some people say I said it down gently, but it's my story.
Hey, they don't know that.
I slammed the bat down, and after he was done speaking, Tristan came up and he's like, I'll give you an hour on stage.
Let's go.
Dang.
So that was like my big speaking, like first speaking gig. So when I went on stage there, I took one of the other bats and I told the story about how I got there. And then ever since then, I've been gifted multiple bats. I've
that's
had
neat.
custom bats made. So I have a lot of different bats now.
Yeah.
So that's how the bat started.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
last week I sat close to you, you know, and fortunately there was a seat open.
Yeah.
But now I realize why the seats, like, usually they're 2 open on each side.
Yeah.
Because that bat could swing pretty far right there. You know, we just kind of want to stay under that. So, no, that's pretty cool. And it's like really, I mean, bro, you have some cool bats.
Yeah, I have some. So the black bat with all the crazy colors. So
Yeah.
the
I seen
pink
it, yeah, yeah.
drips. That is 6 different projects. So
Oh,
each
cool.
color is a different
There's a
project that we
significance to
bought.
it.
So that was from 1 year, different projects. The other one was gift. The one that I think you saw me with was
Yeah.
a gift. And then like I have one right now that's being made that's like the blackest black. Like you can't see it.
Got
It's
it.
really crazy looking.
Got
and
it.
then I have one that's
Damn.
like the whitest white.
That's pretty cool. So are you all tatted up?
No.
So
no.
you tat up all your projects on the bat.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
freaking dope, man. That is
You just have a cartridge. La playa.
no, which gets me to the next thing, right? I was hoping to see, I got the El Rey, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
only
yeah.
did I do sell, well, I'm leasing a church to Hispanics, but now I'm El Rey. How did you get that?
Dude, that was just a joke. Talking with a bunch of agents because I was working a deal on National Avenue, and this guy had like a stack of
Hundreds.
of listing contracts he hadn't signed, and one of the biggest agents in San Diego was on the top, and he's a big National Ave guy.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, man, I got him to sign the contract. I was like, you're not El Rey anymore. He's like, oh. And it's
I'm
just
the
a
captain
joke,
now.
And then it just kept going. So it's just a funny joke that like I just lean into.
Yeah, I like it. I like it because, you know, it fits you. It fits that personality, right? I got the wood, and I mean, you're building so many structures.
Yeah.
And what do we need to build right now, right, is that wood. So I like that. And then El Rey, bro, you're getting all these freaking cheat codes. Like, this is pretty cool how you're doing the pocket listings. I mean, the Mission Hills project, again, I really applaud you for that. Those were beautiful freaking units, man. And I still don't know, how is it that you went from flipping, you went to developing, like, do you ever look at these projects and say, like, damn, I built that? Like, how the hell did I get into that?
Dude, that happens all the time. Because I'm a goofball. Like, I'm dyslexic. I can't read.
Really?
Yeah, so I can read. You'll see if I text you, there'll be misspellings all
Oh, you're
over
like
the
us, huh?
You're like me?
Yeah. So I'm really good at math, but my interpersonal skills are getting better. But I just was a goofball. I liked playing sports. I liked doing jokes. I used to spend 30 minutes every day writing comebacks. So I did
So
that
he's ready.
I did that for years. So
Wow.
people are like,
Witty.
so many comebacks, and I'm like, I used to sit and write comebacks.
Hey, noted. Don't try.
Oh,
Don't try him.
me.
Don't try him. He's trigger ready.
Especially off air. I'll get some dark stuff.
That is so
So,
cool, man.
speaking about, El Rey, you recently sold the National City Castle.
Yeah.
Speak about, the experience of that and the uniqueness of that property.
So that was a very, very unique property. So 5,066 square feet, 8 acres, huge property.
It's literally a castle.
Yeah, top of Plaza.
Wow.
And I will say this is it was a very special deal because if you guys don't know David Hussein, he works with me, he runs the team with me, but he was my mentee when we first started. And this was the first deal that he really took the driver's seat. So I was like, I came in to do the land play, do the negotiation, and help us get the contract. And then David ran the show. I was there, but it was like usually it's me front, David behind.
Yeah.
This was the first time David in front. That project was insane.
Nice.
Getting that thing sold, it took 17 months. We fell out of escrow the day of closing on the first seller, day of closing.
What was the reason?
Fun.
Dude, they wanted a 60-day extension in seller carry. And I was like, are you high? Are you high? So, and they did mediation and they're going to arbitration for the EMD. It was a large EMD. And that actual text message got read at the arbitration. So it was, be careful what you text. They read everything. It's hilarious though. So, but yeah, so that one went through, but we worked it. It was a unique situation to sell because it wasn't in perfect condition, but it was so unique.
Yeah.
But it required the perfect buyer. So we got over 1 million views on that property.
Let's
That
go.
is crazy.
We had Zillow Gone Wild. We had Heritage Homes, and then another website pushed us. We did 4 different video series on it. We did a ton of stuff to get that thing out there. And it just happened. One guy was closing at 1031, and he was like, "This is really cool. I want to buy this property." Stepped in and was the guy that
There
bought
goes
it.
the castle.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but the crazy, all that time, as we went to close, as we went to get the last offer, we ended up with 4 offers competing out of nowhere. It was beginning of this year. 4 people stepped up.
What?
Yeah, and I have a guy right now that I'm helping try and find something similar to that, which I was like, dude, this is gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Wow. That's,
And he was like, I really wanted that. I was like, where were you? He's like, my house burned down in the Altadena fire. And I was like, oh, snap. So otherwise he would have been buying it before.
That's
that.
crazy. Are you starting to see a lot of, with those fires, everything that happened, are you starting to see like more buyers from that area maybe coming down here?
We're working with 3 right now.
Okay.
So we're actually working with 1 down here, 3 up there buying land.
Got it.
So, but I'm very iffy on the land acquisition because I'm concerned about what's going to happen. Yeah. So I'm very tentative with those buyers. I'm only working with hyper sophisticated buyers for that land.
Got it.
Because I think there's going to be a ton of hurdles. So,
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the city doesn't want to sell it back, right? They're trying to figure it. They're going to put out these obstacles. You never know.
Yeah, I looked at affordable housing development they put out like 3 days ago for up there for where an old gas station was, and it's going to get real ugly.
Dang.
Yeah. So last week you posted a video, and a lot of people want to know about this. You posted a video last week bringing attention to a local real estate guru. Yeah. Now I'm not going to mention any names. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
But allegedly they accidentally stole a property.
Yeah.
Can
you elaborate on that?
Yeah, and before he elaborates with that, we're all about community. We're empowering our community, making sure that when we vet people, we're very cautious. I'm not one to be quick and say, hey, use this person, use that person. Like, no, this is who I've used. This is the experience that I've had. But you should actually entertain others, right?
Yeah.
So we always want to make sure that we're vetting certain people, and we want to really discuss this because I think it's very important for our community. We just had another, I want to say a few months ago, there was another ADU person doing ADUs and taking money, and it's here in our neck of the woods, Eastlake.
Right here in the gates.
Right? Multitasker, right? And it's just crazy to see these things happening, and I just think it's a lack of knowledge from the community, and I'm just glad that we have you here to talk about this.
Yeah, so First and foremost, I don't think I've ever put anybody on blast before. So it was very
You're not the
difficult.
kind of guy.
Yeah, it was very difficult to do that. But this situation warranted it, in my opinion. And I ran it by a few different people. And I was like, do you think I should? They're like, we think you should. After what's happened over the last week, I definitely should. Yeah. So I'm going to go back a little bit in the story and give context on both sides of this, because it's maybe the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This gentleman, we'll call him Kevin Trin because that's his name.
Let's go.
I like
went
that.
into escrow with us to purchase a property that I had listed. Some other interesting backstory there. I owned this property 4 years ago. I sold it to this owner who was developing it. He kept coming to cheat codes. He designed the plans. He did everything. And then he came to me. He was like, hey, I have the plans done. I'd really like you to sell it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and we'd built a relationship over time, come to events. And I went in on a couple of his architectural meetings and met with him and stuff like that. Kind of similar to what you're saying. Like, I just jumped in on all this stuff. So we went into escrow, negotiated all the different terms of it. And there were some pretty crazy terms, seller carry, different things like that.
Gotcha.
So as that went through, it kept dragging out. And I kept getting a weird spidey sense on it. I was like, something's going on. And we kept getting extensions.
Can't
and we're
miss
like,
the spidey senses.
yeah. So extension, gets to a point where like, are you doing it or not? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do it. One more extension. I was like, hard release your deposit. So he's like, okay, hard releases the
Put
deposit.
your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, we're like, cool. We got the hard release on the deposit. He's going to do it. Goes through 2 weeks later, doesn't do it. I was like, all right, we're canceling. And we cancel on him. 13 days later, he goes through the process I elaborated. He downloaded a grant deed. He filled out the owner's information for the property. He filled out the property information. He made himself a partner in that entity to go sign it with a notary.
Oh, dang.
The only thing I don't know is if he provided the notary with those documents or what happened there. I do not know what happened there.
Yeah.
Then he went physically to the county assessor, recorded it, paid transfer tax on it, and had the title order sent to a title company as if they had the order.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. So 7 or 6 steps to get through that process.
Wow.
So that was in November. December comes around. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be putting this property back on the market. I know his agent very well. I've known him for a long time. And he's like, hey, I think Kevin still wants it. I was like, put his money where his mouth is. If he wants to do it, I want a hard release on a deposit before we even open escrow.
Gotcha.
So they're like, cool. A week later, he's like, he's ready. I was like, okay, $35,000 hard day one. You have to close in 35 days. And he's like, okay, we'll do it. So I sent the hard release out. He signs it, executes it. I was like, put it in escrow before I even sign your contract. Puts it in escrow, releases it. I sign the contract. We open escrow.
Okay.
So I was like, okay,
game.
he's obviously serious. The money's gone.
Yeah, you're not getting that back.
Yeah. So 7 days later, get a call from escrow. They're like, hey, who owns this entity? It switched. I was like, oh, maybe my client switched it. Let me reach out to him. So I shoot him a text. I'm like, hey, get me your entity docs for this so I can get it over. We'll just do an assignment of the contract. No big deal. 30 seconds later, what the F is this company? I was like, what? He's like, I don't own that company. I was like, what do you mean you don't own that company?
What the
And I was like, hey, get to your computer. And I sent him all the documents and I sent him the grant deed. I hadn't looked at the grant deed because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at the grant deed and I'm like, holy crap. This is the guy we're in escrow with. And he signed it over to himself.
How? That's crazy.
To a new corporate.
To a new corporation with his name signing as the other corporation. I was like, what is going on? So we're like, okay, like, let's try and be charitable here. So I'm calling a call 2 attorneys that I work with. They're like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. And I was like, and then he's back in escrow with us. And I was like, that's the
Awkward.
dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, if you're going to steal it, just disappear. Like,
Yeah.
Don't leave a trail.
yeah. So back in escrow. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just call him. So we call him and he's like, oh yeah, sorry, my mistake. I'll get it fixed. I was like, you don't fix it. You don't fix it at all. Let me get my attorney on it. And I give my client several attorney recommendations. He goes with the one that I use. And we go through about a week process because it closed in a different entity in 2024. So it was on his taxes, but it wasn't in his name, which is another problem. If he wants to 1031, he's now lost his 2 years. He's like, there's a level of issues that comes up.
Wow.
Now his basis was $1,050,000. Now it's transferred at 2.5 and it has to go back. So now his property tax goes up. So we're trying to like,
Can of
my
worms.
gosh.
Like how do you unwind this?
Yeah. So
That's ridiculous.
I have a grantee that's 9 pages long with explanations, code, all this stuff. Go over. Nice thing is he signed it right away, got it notarized. We got our side notarized. But then the county rejected it 3 times
Oh my God.
for different issues. And we're like, wait, what? And I was like, dude, we're fixing a fraudulent grantee. Like, just fix this.
I
So,
mean, how does even the county even,
How does it get to that point?
how do they even figure that out? You
Dude,
know what I mean?
so I'm not involved on like that side, but there's going to be downstream consequences still.
Of course.
There
That
has
we're
to be.
trying. And like the idea is like this document's going to prove out what happened. But when the IRS asks, when the county asks, like he's going to have to go through these processes,
It's not just one, it's multiple.
not just
Yeah.
one.
Man, Andrew, that is crazy. That is wow. You know, and you said it perfectly. Like, wow, why would they want to go back in escrow?
Yeah.
I'd be like, see, Nara.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, and the fact that you even put the house back on the market, that's what brought everything about again.
Oh, yeah.
Had
No.
you not done that, it could have been a year if you decided, hey, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be paying these expenses for so many, but somebody else is the owner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if you had to undo that a year, 2 years later.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole other problem.
What if he disappeared? What if we couldn't get him to sign? It takes 9 months to get that cloud
Oh
off title.
my, that's crazy. See, you're in when you post, we get just a little glimpse of it. Now we're getting the whole meat and potatoes here.
Yeah.
This is very tactful right there.
This is like 5% of it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So since this, over the last week, multiple people have reached out.
Yeah.
Not the only property this has happened on.
Oh.
Granted it over. Another big developer here in San Diego did the same thing, and they had to unwind it. Then several people in the community, multiple who I haven't, they've asked me not to say what's going on, have money tied up with him, investments, had him disappear, buying McLarens, buying different cars with it, and using their money.
Oh my goodness.
Seconds, thirds, all sorts of stuff. So buyer beware.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
Buyer be certainly aware. So what advice would you, I mean, you've been in the industry quite a while. I know I've been in it too. Like, how do we even try to prevent these things? How do we go about it?
So we always credit check on seller carries.
Yeah.
I've done quite a few seller carries over the years. We credit check. Next step, background check. It's now part of it. We got a background check too late. After all this had happened, it would have been obvious.
Oh my goodness.
It would have been obvious.
Well, good for you that you caught something like this. And thank you so much for sharing it with our community. You know, these are very important things for us to share. And this is what we're all about. We're trying to empower people and not take away from people, you know? And so this is just a horrible takeaway.
Yeah. And again, not what I want to post.
No, by all means. But thank you.
And
Thank
that's
you.
why,
That's
I
more
feel
power
like
to you.
I feel you were bringing just more attention to it and awareness because it could happen to anybody else, if they don't, do the right vetting. So, thank you for sharing that and just bringing attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. One thing I did want to ask for an aspiring new investor, I'm going to switch gears here, but for an aspiring new investor, what would you say would be the new opportunity right now in today's day and age?
I think like the simple, what we call hitting a double or a triple right now is getting a basic home, like a Claremont. I mean, it's basic. It's still like $1.2 million.
That's a good area though.
But like Claremont, Sierra Mesa, even Logan, even those areas, getting something like that, garage conversion, detached ADU, and just run it out. Live in it. You can get that done for relatively cheap. Financing is available. You do have to put some skin in the game.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. But go figure out how to do it. My number one step for anybody is if you found a good deal, how can you have $100,000 tomorrow to get it done? You need to figure out who those people are that you're going to work with, how you're going to do it, and realize that's what it's going to take. I partnered for years, and I still partner to do bigger deals. But to do small deals, I partnered with people because I only put $50 into my first deal.
Wow.
So that was, and we did a $100 EMD. And my buddy, who we were both in the bar, he put the $100 in, and I was like, "I'll pay you with interest when we close."
So you credited your first deal of 50.
Yeah.
OPM to the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, here's 57.
That's awesome. So when you're buying this property, just visualize it for the other potentials of what it is, especially garages, right? I think that's a really good thing to do right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot more inexpensive than building ground up.
100%. So stay in that like 1 to 4. If you're going to add units, I'd stay RM, just like as far as zoning, residential multifamily, just because it's easier to finance.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm loving this guy.
No,
I'm in love with
stuff,
Andrew.
man. All good stuff, man. Thank you for sharing your story, just everything all around, man. Anything that you want to share that you might not, we might not have gone around to it, or you want to, just, share with our audience?
I would say just check out realestatecheatcodes.com. Nice. It's all of our events. It just takes you to an Eventbrite. I'm a simple guy.
We'll make sure we share all the links in here too.
Oh,
one last thing. You're going to go to, what is it, Fitness Friday right now?
Yeah, headed out to play pickleball for First Friday Fitness.
30 plus bones broken and you're still out there?
Yeah. I've broken quite a few bones. It's been a while now. So I just, when it rains, I know about 2 hours beforehand.
Okay.
So for our audience, people that want to just go out there and, hey, I want to invest. Like, this guy knows how to go from fix and flip to development. And how do they get a hold of you?
Quite literally, the easiest way to get me is on Instagram at Realty Entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I'm always on there making sure that stuff's going back and forth, and I have it monitored too.
Okay.
My phone's really hard until you know me. And if you're going to call me, if I say, hey, give me a call, I'm going to tell you to give me your phone number first, because I'm going to save your name so that way I answer your call.
That makes sense.
So that's super important.
Well, I feel privileged that I have your phone number. You didn't answer my call, but there's business that I have to do with you. I have a couple of things working. I'm doing 2 ADUs right now.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like, I purchased a home through Sub 2. Because I got with Pace, and then I'm building 2 ADUs with it.
Very cool.
And I kind of took the approach like you did. I want to learn how to finance it instead of I was going to tap into my retirement and stuff like that to do it. But I figured, like, let me see what I can do. Let me finance this thing. And the numbers seem to work out, but that's going to be another story. And man, Andrew, I would love to have you again if you'd be our guest.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's committed, guys. That's it. We got it on camera, too. No, I'm just so excited because I know there's a lot more that I can get out of you, and then since you continue to adapt with everything that goes on, like, I just want to get all the freaking, all the good stuff later.
Yeah, perfect. We could do hours on ADUs.
Yeah.
Literally hours. There's so much available on it. So
yeah. No, and thank you for that. I mean, you're just that guy I asked you earlier, do you look at these projects? It's like, man, when would I have thought I'd be doing 30 some buildings, 15 buildings, this building? Like, it's pretty cool to go around San Diego. A lot of people are discouraged to go out of state, but yet you stay here.
Yeah, no, it's I have a rule. It's everyone wants to invest in San Diego. They just have to figure it out. It's you don't want to invest outside of San Diego, like in all actuality. And then the other rule is if it's a deal in Tennessee, it passed how many people like me before it got to me.
Gotcha.
So it must not be that good of a deal.
Like that.
And there's a lot of people that are like, no.
Yeah. The beauty of it is you're investing in your own backyard.
Yeah, I can go see all my buildings. I could drive around town and it'd take a couple hours and I could see all the buildings.
Yeah. And you mentioning that, I'm sorry, I keep kind of going, and like I said, we should have you back more, but one of the cool things that you actually do is you actually go and preview properties. Mm-hmm. I had the privilege of doing that. So we get to really see the hands-on on Andrew. Yeah. That's freaking pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
It's going to be on April, I think it's 11th.
Okay.
That's a Thursday, 4 to 6. That is one of my buddy's projects, doing one of those manufactured ADUs in his backyard.
Interesting.
Super cool.
Well, we're all going to be there. We're going to post that up there. So Eventbrite, we could find him too. Cheat codes, Google him, Instagram him. Like, this guy's all about it.
Very cool.
Yeah. Andrew, thank you so much for your time, man. We hope to see you again soon, and best of luck out there today.
Sweet.
Yeah. Right. Don't break no bones.
Yeah. Friends, family of Mortgage Heroes, thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. See you guys.
So if you enjoyed this video and got value from it, subscribe right here. And if you want to watch another video, click right here.